feel that one of the most important things in life is accepting and understanding that you cannot possibly know everything. Understanding that you inherently see things from a certain viewpoint is critical to learning more about the world. I think we should never stop questioning what we think to be true and learn everything we possibly can from a place of humility and open-mindedness. I believe in continually seeking out and listening to opposing viewpoints and worldviews to gain a greater understanding of life. There is power in saying, "I don't know." For a long time, it was difficult for me to confide in someone how little I knew on a given subject for fear of not having the upper hand in the situation. This admittance, however, in the right hands, has led to greater understanding and learning. I have learned more from letting myself admit my lack of knowledge and seeking out people who can explain to me what I do not know. Many of us are obsessed with being right. This obsession comes from a place of pride and insecurity, fear of being made fun of for being wrong, fear of the things you thought were true your entire life turning out to be false. I believe there can be comfort in questioning the things you know to be true. Being wrong means that things can change and get better. I believe the willingness to be wrong is an imperative trait to develop in yourself. We must acknowledge that our view of the world is contrived from the way we have been taught and the environment surrounding us. What we know to be true is not the same as what others know to be true. Multiple times in my life it has occurred to me how little I actually know. I can only see from the perspective of someone who has lived the very same life that I have. We usually forget to practice true open-mindedness. We go into conversations with a point to prove, an argument to make, whether we do so peacefully or aggressively. We don't go into discussions with the goal of having our minds changed, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are principles people live by that they refuse to see challenged. I, for one, refuse to tolerate homophobia or transphobia in any capacity because I've personally seen them take and damage lives. For these principles to develop in the first place, they have to be challenged. They have to be acknowledged as subjective because ideas imperative to one person may not be imperative to another. It becomes an issue when people don't acknowledge that their views are not the only correct views. One of our major problems is an unwillingness to acknowledge that our perspective is simply that, our perspective. It is not the truth. It is not irrefutable. It is a combination of all of the things we have experienced and been influenced by. It is purely individual. To think that somebody is completely wrong because their beliefs do not align with yours is arrogant and close-minded. In the essay In Praise of the Wobblies, Ted Gubb describes himself as someone who is unable to choose a solid side of one issue or a wobbly. This is a combination of both open-mindedness and intellectual humility. At the end of the essay, he says that he is proud to be a wobbly. I think that's a great thing to be. You should never be so set in one viewpoint that you refuse to see another side of an issue. I believe in the civil, healthy exchange of ideas and in having conversations with people whose beliefs differ from yours. I believe in understanding that your truths may not be somebody else's truths because both may be valid. Most importantly, I believe we should never take one truth as the whole or only truth in the never-ending search for new perspectives.